welcome to Betfred Sports Bureau here in the Westbury Network studio. I'm Katie Campbell, joined by the wonderful Betfred's Peter Spencer. How are you doing today, Peter?
Yeah, smashing, thanks very much.
Fab. So first of all, Arsenal, first win for the title in a long time. How's that looking over at Betfred?
Well, I was working last night and the traders were agonising over Arsenal and City. City have got to play Arsenal twice, I believe, before the end of the season, so it can be quite close. But Arsenal, with the way the results have gone, City losing the derby, of course, but Arsenal beating Tottenham makes Arsenal 8 points clear at this stage, and they're looking in great form. So for the first time in 10-12 years, Betfred have made Arsenal the favourites for the Premier League, and they are now 4-5. City have drifted to 5-4, and Guardiola was on about initially saying that he wasn't bothered about the Premier League. I'm sure that has gone down with City supporters. He retracted that and said at the moment he's more bothered about the team, but anyway, he did say it. And then United, well, they've been chopped in now to 14-1, so there's a lot of money going on United to pull off the unthinkable and win the Premier League. Newcastle, well, they drifted slightly to 40-1, even though they won against Fulham. Tottenham 250-1, which amazingly is the same price as mighty Liverpool.
Wow.
250-1 for the title. Chelsea 500-1. So it's all changed on the back of those two pulsating derby games over the weekend.
It's been quite mental, hasn't it? And of course, Arsenal did play Tottenham at the weekend. I think Tottenham had no kind of strength in the squad at all. Arsenal played brilliantly, and Tottenham didn't seem to have much to fight back with at all.
No, I thought Arsenal could have won by more than they did. As you say, the way that Tottenham play, they do lack creativity in the middle of the park, and defence isn't much cop either. So Arsenal could have really rammed their superiority. Of course, that game was had some unsavoury incidents at the end with Ramsdale, the Arsenal goalkeeper, assaulted by someone in the crowd, which was absolutely dire. And Arteta running over and trying to create the peace.
It's quite sad, really, when you see people bringing them kind of issues into football, because it's a game we all love and we all share. So I think people like that have to just keep their opinions away, don't they, really?
Yeah, they say they're going to ban him from all future football matches at the stadium. I couldn't believe how he got away, because there was that many stewards around him. He was scurrying off into the terrace. We thought they would have been able to at least get hold of him until the police arrived. But anyway, I'm sure they'll get him on the cameras.
Yes, well, fingers crossed. But another game that was massive in Manchester, especially, was the Manchester derby. I mean, I loved it as a United fan, but what did you think? You actually went there and watched it yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It was an amazing atmosphere. Even though it was an early kick-off, which I don't necessarily think adds to the atmosphere, but it was. Everybody had the breakfast before they went on in the VIP bit, and then they enjoyed the game, and what a spectacle it was. I thought United showed great courage in continuing to keep at City, even though in the second half it was going massively against United, and then City took the lead, of course. I thought De Bruyne had been criticised and didn't look really on it in their game in the first half. Suddenly sparked to life and got that great crossing for Grealish's goal. Grealish, he was like the pantomime villain amongst a lot of the United supporters. He had a bit of a laugh there when he scored the goal. Foden completely out of it. I couldn't understand why. What's happened to his form? Maybe he's the biggest impact because of Haaland, because he's not getting the passes that he used to get. He's all focused on Haaland. The United supporters were mocking Haaland, of course, because of his one shot that he had in the game, and it was just blocked. So, and then United just tremendous counter-attacking, and that was really winding up Guardiola on the touchline, because he was just in front of me and he was going absolutely crazy. But United's counter-attacking was supreme. Martial gets a lot, but he did okay, I thought, because he was holding the ball up. And then Rashford had a poor first half, and then I thought he was going to get substituted when he got injured, and they kept with him. And he turned out to be, main man. And arguably man of the match.
Definitely. I mean, I think when he really scored, for City, it was kind of one of them things where it's like, oh, here we go, are they going to win now? But then see United come back and really battle against that was just great to see for the team.
Regarding the offside goal,
Mm.
from a United point of view, you could understand why it was given, but you can also see that the fact the sequence of events was that Rashford was going forward, and then it was looking like it was a pass for Rashford.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper must have thought he was going to strike the ball, but Rashford played very intelligently, realising he was offside, and then left it for Fernandes to go and blast it in the net. Now, the referee, the linesman put his flag up, indicating it was offside, which he had to do because Rashford was in an offside position. Then it went upstairs to VAR. They studied it, and the referee had given the goal at that point because he'd had a consultation with the linesman. So VAR had to decide, was it an obvious mistake by the referee? And it wasn't an obvious mistake because by the letter of the law, even with the interpretation, it was a fair enough goal. But it could have gone the other way because his interpretation could have been that Rashford was interfering.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a 50-50 decision. They went United's way, predictably enough, and much to the great joy of the United hordes.
It's quite hard for the rest, isn't it? Because it's such a difficult job. The law does state that goal is okay, but for them to make the choices, it's really hard for them as a ref on the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It must have been a nightmare for because whichever thing he does, it would go. Whichever decision he makes, it's going to upset one half of the City.
Yeah.
And delight the other half, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, United play Palace again on Wednesday. What's it looking like for that game there?
Well, we do have United as favourites in that game, and Rashford, who we keep talking about, he's 3-1 to score the opening goal. Fernandes is 9-1 to score the opener. But although we've focused on the top of the table with Arsenal, the bottom is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I believe the relegation is looking a bit funny, isn't it? I mean, there's 2 points to separate the bottom 7, which is quite crazy.
Yeah, it is. Well, we still think Bournemouth are the favourites to be relegated. They're 1-3. Everton, they're right in. You've got a real mess going on there. They're 8-11. And then Southampton 10-11. Can you imagine if those three teams got relegated? Then we've got Wolves at 5-2. Nottingham Forest, who seem to have rallied of late, they're 11-4. Leicester, they're still in the mire, 3-1. And Leeds, well, very inconsistent, and they're 7-2 to be relegated.
Quite crazy there, isn't it? And of course, as you play Spurs on Thursday too, they should win there realistically. But what do you think about that game there?
Well, they should, but the way City have been performing of late, you never really know. And Spurs might be looking to come up with something at the Etihad on Thursday. Because they'll be looking to bounce back. They must have got it in the neck after that performance against Arsenal at home as well. So Spurs are 6-1 with Betfred to win 3 points. City 1-3. Haaland, who's going through a huge 2-game goal scoring famine. He's 7-4 to score the first goal. Grealish, he's 10-1. And if Phil Foden gets back into goal scoring mode, he's 9-2 with Betfred to score the opening goal.
I think Haaland's so funny because I think he's not far off reaching the top goal scoring record, is he now, for the league? But he just lacks it recently. It's kind of, we went from all this amazing goal and getting hat tricks to just losing it completely.
Yeah, it's since the Everton game where the Everton defence sort of wound him up. It does seem as if he's kind of trying too hard. He wants to just chill out a bit, and he'll soon get his goal scoring touch back.
Definitely got to plan that team there, haven't they? And chill out, like I said. But I believe you had some great winners at Betfred recently. Someone has won £18,000, which isn't quite bad, really. Quite nice start to the year, I think.
Well, it's particularly good because it was a free bet.
Wow.
We had this promotion where we offered free bets to various customers. He was an online customer from Robert Atkinson, he's called, from Barrow in Furness. And he got a free bet. He went and used it all up on a £7.50 each way on 6 races, 2 tracks, Warwick and Kempton on Saturday afternoon. And all the 6 horses came in, they all won, so he didn't even have to go each way. But anyway, he did go each way, and he won 18,719. Asked him what he did when he'd won on Saturday afternoon, and he said he went to wake up his girlfriend because she was having an afternoon doze because she's a trainee nurse, so she'll be working very hard. And then they were very excited, of course, and they decided to have a holiday in Italy.
Wow.
And they're going to use the vast majority of it for a deposit for a cottage home that they've got their eye on up in Cumbria. They need that for the horse, who's a cob horse called Chloe, as it happens, and the dogs, and they're going to use it on this cottage.
Yeah, well, congrats to Robert. It's quite an exciting start to the year, like I said before. But thanks, Peter. It's all amazing. Thank you so much. If you do want to bet, you can do so online, in Betfred stores, and in the app as well.